Hello, dear pensioners. You are legally exempt from these bills starting this July. This is not some vague promise for next year or a plan for when some new piece of legislation eventually arrives in Parliament. It is happening right now, this very July, sitting exactly where you are. Yet, the reason most pensioners keep on paying these bills month after month and year after year is not that they fail to meet the criteria. It is because nobody in any official office anywhere has the slightest reason to ring you up and tell you to stop. That letter simply never comes. The bill continues to land on your doormat, and you keep on paying it out of habit, because that is what you have always done. Today, we are going through 8 of these bills, one at a time, with the real numbers right in front of you. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which of these expenses you can completely wipe out, and precisely how to do it. The 8th bill on this list is by far the most valuable, because it is the single master key that quietly unlocks half of the others. So, please do stay tuned right until the end, because that is the one that almost nobody claims. Every single one of these exemptions has been sitting there in plain sight while millions of decent, hard-working pensioners carried on paying for things they were fully entitled to have for absolutely nothing. There has never been a better month than this one to go through this list slowly and put a definitive stop to it. Before we begin, I would like to remind you that many pensioners could be eligible for a new extra support payment of £200. If you have not heard about this yet, I have left detailed information from an official source in the comments below the video. Make sure to check it out. And now, let us move on to the topic of today's video. Let us start with the first one, which catches more people out than any other because it is so incredibly simple and easily missed. If you live in England and you are aged 60 or over, every single National Health Service prescription you collect from your pharmacy is completely free. That means every single item and every single time for the rest of your life. There is no complicated means test to worry about, there is no income limit, and there is no massive application form to fill in beforehand. To look at the actual figures so you can see the true scale of what we are talking about, the standard prescription charge in England is now £9.90 for each and every individual item. If you take 2 or 3 regular medicines a month, and a great many people over 60 do exactly that, then you may have been handing over the better part of £30 every month at the counter for no good reason at all. Think about what that adds up to across a single year, and then across several years. If you turned 60 some time ago and simply carried on paying at the pharmacy out of habit, then that money was never legally yours to pay in the first place. All you have to do is tick the little box on the back of the physical prescription form that confirms your age, and the charge completely disappears. And here is the part that almost nobody knows about. If you have paid by mistake in the last 3 months, you can claim every single penny of it straight back. All you need to do is ask your pharmacy for a specific form called an FP57 at the very moment you pay. You must get it then, because you cannot legally get hold of it after you leave, and it allows you to reclaim what you were wrongly charged. One simple tick of a box, and a bill you have quietly been paying for years is gone. That is the first of the 8. The second item on our list is its close twin, because it works in exactly the same silent way. Free NHS site tests are fully available for everyone aged 60 and over in England as well. You do not need an official referral from your local doctor, and there is absolutely no income threshold to cross. Any high street optician working alongside the National Health Service will carry out the full examination at no charge whatsoever. A private eye test can easily cost around £25 each time you sit in the chair. Most people around this age are told by professionals that they should have their eyes checked thoroughly every couple of years. So, if you have been booking your routine appointments and paying at the front desk without a second thought, you have been paying for a service that was already completely covered. Furthermore, if you happen to be on a low income or receive certain state benefits, you may also qualify for an additional voucher that goes a very long way toward the actual cost of the glasses themselves. This is a substantial saving that most people never even think to ask about. The help is there, and the only reason people are not getting it is that no one ever explicitly told them it was theirs. Now, the third one is a bill that genuinely causes concern because the sums involved can be remarkably large, and that is the dentist. NHS dental treatment in England is charged in strict tiers or bands. Band 1 covers a simple routine checkup and sits at just under £27. Band 2 is the middle band for things like fillings and comes to a little over £73. Finally, Band 3 is the top band for the serious bigger work such as dentures, crowns and bridges, running to more than £319 in one go. For a pensioner living on a tight, careful budget, that top figure is exactly the sort of number that makes people put the visit off altogether. But here is exactly what you need to know. If you or your spouse receive the guarantee part of pension credit, then every single bit of that NHS dental treatment is completely free. All of it, right up to that £300 band. Keep that fact firmly in mind, because pension credit is going to come back at the very end of this list as the most important thing of all. Moving on from the dentist, the fourth one lands on your doormat once a year, and a great many people over 75 are still paying it when they have absolutely no need to. The television licence costs £174.50 every single year. If you are 75 or over, and someone in your immediate household receives pension credit, then your TV licence is entirely free. Not merely reduced, not slightly discounted, but completely free. Yet, there are older people the length and breadth of this country, well into their 80s, still paying that full bill every single year because they either never knew the rule existed or assumed it could not possibly apply to their situation. That is over £170 a year, going straight out of the door that never needed to leave it. The fifth item is the biggest single bill most households face once the mortgage is finally paid off, and that is your council tax. There are 3 separate ways a pensioner can have this bill cut, and most people never claim a single one of them. First, there is the single-person discount. If you live entirely on your own, you are legally entitled to 25% off your entire bill. A great number of widows and widowers are still paying the full couple's rate years after losing their partner, simply because they have not asked the local authority to change it. Second, you have the council tax reduction scheme. If you are living on a low income, you can apply for this reduction, and depending entirely on your specific circumstances, that can take anything up to the whole bill off, right down to zero. Third, there is a lesser-known rule regarding a serious cognitive impairment. If someone living in the home has a serious condition, such as dementia, and receives a qualifying state benefit, they can be completely disregarded for council tax purposes altogether. The council will never write to you out of the blue to offer you any of this. You have to pick up the phone and directly ask for it. And when you do make that call, make sure to ask whether the discount can be backdated. In many cases, they will refund you for a good stretch of time gone by, and that can mean a substantial lump sum landing back in your bank account on top of the ongoing monthly saving. The sixth bill comes in a few times a year and quietly climbs while nobody is watching, and that is your water bill. If you are on a water meter and your daily usage is high for a reason entirely outside your control, there is an official scheme called WaterSure that puts a firm, protective cap on your bill. It works for people on certain benefits who either have a specific medical condition that means they must use a lot of water, or who have a larger household with several children still living at home. Under WaterSure, no matter how much water you actually get through, your bill is strictly capped so that you never pay a penny more than the average for your specific region. For a household caught in that position, that single cap can be worth hundreds of pounds across a year. And even if WaterSure is not the right fit for you, there is a second door you can walk through, because nearly every water company in the country now runs what they call a social tariff. That is a permanently reduced rate for customers living on a low income. In some cases, it cuts the entire bill by as much as a half. The catch is the exact same one as before. Your water company will not move you onto the cheaper rate on its own initiative. You have to contact them directly and ask. So, make the call this week and say the words WaterSure and social tariff out loud to the customer advisor. The seventh one is a bill that almost every single home now has, and very few pensioners realize they are paying well over the odds for it. That bill is your home broadband and your telephone line. If you receive pension credit, and in a good many cases certain other state benefits too, you are fully entitled to something called a social tariff for your internet connection. In plain terms, that means getting reliable broadband for around £12 to £20 a month. That is in place of the £30 or £40 a great many households are currently paying every single month without ever questioning the contract. The physical connection that comes down the line into your house is exactly the same. The speed is the same, and the reliability is the same. The only thing that changes is the price printed on the bill. The reason so very few people are on these cheaper tariffs is that the major telecom providers make almost no effort at all to tell their existing customers that these options exist. You could very likely halve your bill with a single phone call. So, ring your provider and say the words social tariff. Then, ask them directly whether you qualify. The absolute worst they can say is no, and the best they can say could save you hundreds of pounds a year. Before I come to the final item on our list, I want to give you a very serious word of warning, because it matters immensely. The moment anything to do with pensioner money is in the mainstream news, and refunds and free financial help certainly are in the news right now, criminals operate in full force. Nobody official will ever text you, email you, or telephone you out of the blue asking for your personal bank details so that they can pay you a refund, or so that they can help you claim your pension credit. That is simply not how any of this works. The real savings on this list come entirely from you making the call, from you ticking the box, or you filling in the proper official form. They never ever come from a stranger who contacts you first. And now we arrive at the eighth one. If you take only one single thing away from everything today, please let it be this one, because it is worth more than all the others on this list put together. The eighth item is pension credit itself. On its own, pension credit tops up the weekly income of any pensioner who falls below a certain line, bringing a single person up to around £227 a week, and rather more than that for a couple. But the direct weekly payment is not even the main prize here. The real power of pension credit is everything it automatically unlocks the moment you are on it, even if you only qualify by a single pound. That is why it is the master key. Once you have it, your NHS dental treatment becomes completely free, just as I described earlier. Your television license becomes free once you reach 75. Your council tax can be reduced by up to the whole amount. You become automatically entitled to the warm home discount off your energy bills, along with help toward the whole range of other living costs. The government's own figures put the average value of everything attached to pension credit at around £3,900 a year, and that sits entirely on top of the direct payment itself. Around 800,000 pensioners in this country are fully entitled to pension credit right now and are simply not claiming it. Somebody checked their eligibility once, some years back, and was told they were a few pounds over the line, so they never went back to it again. But the rules do not stand still. The thresholds move, and they widen over time. A household that was turned down 3 or 4 years ago can very easily qualify today without a single thing in their own life having changed. So, please do not treat an old answer as though it were carved in stone. Do not guess, and do not talk yourself out of it. Use the free pension credit calculator on the government's own website, or pick up the phone to Age UK or to Citizens Advice, where advisor teams will sit and work it all out with you for nothing. Roughly 1 in 3 pensioners in this country do not claim everything they are rightfully owed. Not because they are trying to beat the system, and not because they are not entitled to it, but simply because nobody ever told them it was there. There is no shame whatsoever in claiming any of this. You paid into this system through every single working year of your life. This is not a handout, and it is not charity. It is your own money making its way back at last. Every single one of these items represents money you are entitled to keep in your account. Go through this list slowly and take note of the ones that apply to your life. Then make your calls this week, while it is all still fresh in your mind. If this video was useful to you, please send it to someone else who needs to see it. Hit the subscribe button and stick around. There is plenty more useful information coming your way very soon.